Karen Carpenter was the golden voice of the 1970s, and her music touched hearts across generations. But behind that velvet voice was a story filled with pain, silence, and unanswered questions. She was born on March 2, 1950 in New Haven, Connecticut, into a family that had already chosen a favorite child, and it wasn't her. While her brother Richard was praised as the musical genius, Karen was the spirited tomboy who found her escape in rhythm and drums. She enrolled in ballet and tap and spent afternoons playing softball in the street with boys. When the Carpenters moved to Downey, California, she was only 13 and trying to find her place in a new world. High school was tough, and she avoided gym class by joining the school band, where she discovered her love for drums after watching a friend perform. She begged for her own drum set and practiced for hours on end, mastering time signatures and jazz rhythms with obsessive passion. Karen was a drummer first, and she was proud of that identity. She studied under jazz greats and impressed everyone with her raw dedication. But everything changed when she sang during a recording session and stunned everyone in the room. Her voice was hauntingly beautiful and pure, and she was offered a record deal on the spot. Karen and Richard formed bands, played clubs, and struggled for years trying to break through in a world that didn't know what to do with their sound. Eventually, A&M Records signed them, and the Carpenters were born. Karen sang from behind her drums, but her petite frame made her invisible to audiences. She was asked to step forward, and though it terrified her, she did it anyway. Her voice quickly became the soul of their music, and her presence on stage mesmerized crowds. She never saw herself as a frontwoman. She still called herself a drummer who sings. As the hits rolled in, Karen seemed to have it all: fame, success, and adoration. Yet inside, she was unraveling. Her mother never gave her the approval she craved, always saving her warmth for Richard. That wound never healed. In 1976, one photograph changed everything, when Karen saw herself and thought she looked heavy. That image triggered the spiral that would consume her. She began dieting, fired her trainer, and took control of her routine with dangerous intensity. She found clever ways to avoid eating, including encouraging others to share her meals so she wouldn't have to. Her mother caught on, but even that concern couldn't reverse what had already started. Karen's weight dropped. Fans grew alarmed, but she brushed it off. Then came the BBC interview where a host confronted her on live TV about anorexia, a word few knew back then. Karen was blindsided, but Richard defended her and turned the talk back to music. Her love life was just as fragile. She dated Steve Martin and Tony Danza, but nothing stuck. She buried herself in tours while her body and heart suffered. In 1980, she married real estate developer Thomas James Burris, a man who kept a devastating secret. Just before the wedding, he revealed he had a vasectomy, crushing her dream of having children. Karen wanted to cancel, but her mother said it was too late. So she walked down the aisle, and the marriage quickly turned cold. He was emotionally abusive and seemed more interested in her money than her heart. Still, Karen gave him everything, hoping for love. At one point, she handed over $50,000 just to keep peace. When she asked about reversing the vasectomy, he told her he'd never have children with someone like her, calling her a bag of bones. With her spirit broken and health failing, Karen turned to therapist Stephen Levenkron in 1982. She confessed to taking 80 to 90 laxatives every night and thyroid meds to speed metabolism. He took the pills away and invited her family to therapy, hoping they'd show support. Richard expressed love. Agnes stayed cold and insisted on being called Mrs. Carpenter. Karen returned to LA trying to heal. She appeared to improve, eating again, socializing, and even talking about new music. But her body couldn't keep up. One morning, she made coffee in her parents' kitchen, then returned to her room and collapsed. She was found unresponsive, rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead at just 32. The autopsy revealed years of damage from ipecac syrup, which had quietly destroyed her heart. Her funeral brought out 1,000 people, including Olivia Newton-John and Dionne Warwick. Her estranged husband showed up and placed his wedding ring in her casket. She was laid to rest and later moved to a private mausoleum. Her story shocked the world and sparked conversations around eating disorders. The Karen A. Carpenter Memorial Foundation was founded to raise awareness and fund research. Her voice still inspires, and her struggle still matters. This was Hollywood Star News. If Karen Carpenter's story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that need to be told.